So this type of behavior is unacceptable to me. When I find out that my provincial commissioner at the time, Lieutenant General Patikile, doesn't have a police clearance, it makes my blood boil. Because this man is sitting with intelligence information. He's using this information to sign off on budgets. He's giving operational instructions without the right recognized clearance. It is in actual fact as if, Commissioner Khumalo, to use you as an example, not because you look the part, if you were a taxi driver and you didn't have PDP, that is what they've reduced the South African Police Service to. Now, when you find out that out of the 9 provincial commissioners, only 2 have clearance, it's in the Northern Cape. But then I said to him, look, I've got some business in Joburg. I'll do it in Johannesburg.
Just explain the more to me. You say you expected more. You approach him. Must my assumption be that he knew nothing about the dockets?
Commissioner Madlanga, I'm convinced that he didn't know about the dockets.
Yes.
I was just...
Exactly. Now explain the more.
So I'll explain the more.
He knows nothing about the dockets. He says, I'm going to investigate. You say you expected more. Just explain the more.
I will explain the more. I think it's a me problem. If I get a call at 6 o'clock from this gentleman over here, and he needs assistance now, he has a problem now, if at all possible, I will not put it off till tomorrow. I'll come now. That is just the way I operate, and sometimes I expect everyone to do it.
Just explain, let's leave Mr. Adams aside. What did you expect, General
I expected...
Just please wait for me. What did you expect General Patikile to do?
I expected General Patikile to tell me something like, I'll find out who take the dockets now. Or, come to my office, let's see what we can do. Or I'll meet you at the station at 3 o'clock. Or something like that, and I just wasn't...
No, remember, he's not at your beck and call. I understand this was something important, but you cannot expect him to respond instantaneously. If he says, I'm going to investigate, I just don't see what exactly you expected of him.
Well, within
because that... You say in so many words that he knew nothing about the dockets. So it's like you wanted him, despite the fact that he knew nothing about the dockets, to still give you a response there and then and say, okay, now I know.
No, you are 100% right, Chief. And
I said to you, I'm not chief, please.
Oh,
please
Commissioner,
just try to drum that into your head. I'm not chief.
Sorry, Commissioner.
Yeah.
No, you are 100% right. And in hindsight, I think I got carried away in the moment. That I do.
All right.
Suspended Member of Parliament Fadel Adams has maintained that classified crime intelligence documents were slipped under the door of his parliamentary office while making explosive allegations against KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla. Adams made the claims on Wednesday while testifying before the Madlanga Commission, where he rejected allegations that he fraudulently accessed classified crime intelligence documents in 2024. He told the commission that he discovered the documents on the floor of his Cape Town parliamentary office during the final week of October and said, I presumed that the document had been pushed under my door because I found it on the floor when I opened the door. Adams further told the commission that receiving documents in parliamentary offices when members of parliament were away was not unusual, insisting that this was how the documents came into his possession. He later relied on the documents to lodge a criminal complaint against Crime Intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo and others, accusing them of misconduct. However, Adams' testimony took a more confrontational turn when he questioned Mkhwanazi's conduct and raised allegations concerning Durban businessman Timi Maremothu, whom he described as a known criminal. Adams suggested that the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner may have acted as a conduit for Maremothu, and said he should perhaps explain to this commission if he is in fact the conduit for Timi Maremothu. He also alleged that Mkhwanazi had interfered with Maremothu's arrest while raising questions about the involvement of Maremothu's wife, whom he said a police colonel working in crime intelligence. The allegations were not substantiated by evidence presented to the commission during Adams' testimony. Adams' claims come as the commission continues to probe allegations of corruption, criminality and misconduct within the South Africa's law enforcement agencies and the broader criminal justice system. He further told the Commission that his role in reporting allegations involving crime intelligence was limited to that of complainant and argued that KZN Police Commissioner should be investigated instead, and said my role was confined to reporting information, providing documentation where available, and cooperating with the oversight process. Adams has subsequently opened criminal cases at 7 police stations across the Western Cape and Gauteng, alleging fraud, corruption, and gratification by members of the Crime Intelligence Division. Adams said Mkhwanazi's assertion that he should have handed intelligence documents to the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence was misleading. He denied Mkhwanazi's allegations that he was involved in State Capture 2.0 and said the general statement that he should go to the Pollsmoor prison was concerning, and said Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi's conduct demonstrates an attitude that he's above the rule of law and that he may make statements without appropriate restraint or accountability. He said that since 2000, crime intelligence had been used for various purposes, including political battles, patronage, and the maladministration of slush funds that had been perfected during Richard Mdluli's tenure as head of crime intelligence. And said when I received documentary material that appeared to disclose possible irregularities, I sought to preserve that material in its original form and, where appropriate, refer it to competent authorities. Adams said his engagement with the Political Killings Task Team, headed by crime intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo, did not stem from personal animosity or political disagreement over its existence, and said my concern was the financial support a unit investigating a few dozen murders was receiving. The PKTT has a 100 million rand year budget that does not include overtime. It has actively investigated approximately 130 murder dockets over the last 36 months. This translates into a total spend of 2.3 million rand per murder docket. Adams said the anti-gang unit, AGU, confronted up to 800 murders in the Cape Flats but received a small fraction of the PKTT's budget allocation. He said whistleblowers had approached him, alleging that PKTT members had abducted them and taken them to the Northwest Province. He said the alleged victims had lodged a multi-million rand claim against the SAPS. Adams said the PKT had arrested him on 5 May without informing Western Cape Provincial Commissioner General Thembekile Phathekile. He said he had been transported to KZN for 30 hours in a police van without protective covering. He further stated that the independence in policing structures was being compromised by Khumalo, serving as both head of crime intelligence and the PKTT, and said the duality of these roles compromises investigative independence and creates an opportunity for abuse of process. What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.